everybody. Once again, welcome to the Record Player. My guest today is Canadian music legend who, along with his legendary Hearts, became one of the most successful bands of the 80s and 90s. He's a Grammy-nominated, Juno Award-winning singer-songwriter, and his new album, his seventh solo record, is called Cosmic Dreamer. And in all honesty, it's quickly turning into my album of the year choice. It's barely left my phone since I first heard it. Welcome to TRP, Barney Bentall. How are you, Barney?
I'm great, Scott, and thank you for those kind words. This record seems to have struck a chord with people, and I'm. That's always gratifying. You keep
It has for
following
me
your
for sure.
nose. Go ahead. Sorry, I
No, I
interrupted.
was just saying it has for me for sure. It literally has barely been off since I've heard it for the first time.
Uh, that's so wonderful. Thank you.
Um, Congratulations on that. I mentioned off the top, it's called Cosmic Dreamer. Different experience creating during a pandemic. Tell me about the process of this record compared to past records.
Well, it's interesting. Um, a modern day music career is so live performance based,
Mhm.
because of the way the business has gone.
Yeah.
And when you realize that that fills so much of your year, just getting from one gig to the next, and so when that stops, I found it in terms of producing music, it was very creative. I did that instrumental record with Jeffrey Kelly from Spirit of the West called Ranch Riders, and that was such a wonderful thing to be involved with. And then also, right before the everything locked down in, I guess, what is it? Is it 20? It was 2019. Um,
2020, beginning of 2020, I think. Yeah.
Beginning of 2020. Yes, I was taking it. I go up to the Arctic each year, or I have in the past, not for the last 2 years, as a staff member with this adventure travel company, and I was taking a course over in Vancouver Island. That's where I wrote Cosmic Dreamer, and this was in February, I think, before everything closed down. And I went to a friend's studio there, Adrian Dolan, who ended up producing Cosmic Dreamer. And we just recorded that song, and it sort of set the tone for things. And then everything changed. I was on my way to the Junos, and it stopped that day, and every gig I had just left. And so I just started, working on this record. I would go over there and work with Adrian. He was the only person I was sort of in the same room with, by and large, throughout the whole process. But I would just, I didn't know if it would seem disjointed, by with the music coming together in a remote way, because I love that feeling of when you're in a room with musicians you respect and enjoy, and there's all the laughing and joking, and then you get to business and you really focus on capturing a performance with the more people, the merrier to me. I mean, it's also exponentially makes it more difficult to capture something when more people are playing. But so I didn't know what it would be like, but then I just sent it out to people I really respect, and with very little direction. That was another part of it. I didn't go do this, do that. It's like, here it is. Just throw whatever you think should go on it.
Kind of raw.
And what came back was just like so beautiful and cohesive, and yeah, it was remarkable.
You mentioned Cosmic Dreamer, the title track, which I love the harmony vocals. I don't know who that is.
Well, that's Kirby Barber. We have a little bluegrass band called the Highbar Gang, and she was part of that.
Oh, okay.
She's a young, like, she's amazing. Her voice, and she played all the bass in the record. She's the person I'd always send it to first. I have great respect for her instincts musically, and her voice is stunning, and she's a killer bass player. Like, even she just did a thing in Bass Player magazine. She was featured and did this stuff with Bootsy Collins because she's in Nashville part of the time. So that gives you the sort of scope of her talent and her gifts. It's amazing. So yeah, I would start with her, and she sings on all the songs, with the exception of Potter's Wheel, that Ruth Moody very kindly sang on that. So yeah, that was a central part of it, just getting her putting bass on, because I knew it wasn't going to start with a drum kit, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I ended up recording the drums with my drummer Jeff Hicks, who plays with Colin James all the time now, just killer drummer. But he just came to my house where I'm sitting right now, and you know, we didn't really use conventional drums, and I did that recording. So it just all happened in a very organic way, and I love the result.
The thing that I loved about I mentioned the harmony vocals because it took me back to almost listening to Greg Keeler and Sarah McLachlan sing together on 5 Days in May. It has that exact same feel, which is absolutely gorgeous sound. So the two of you together were fantastic.
That's it. That's an absolutely beautiful compliment, because that record, that's such a centerpiece of
Highbar.
it sets the bar. It really does, and I mean, I love that record, and you know, of course, I'm very good friends with Jim Cuddy, and I was just in Europe with him. But and so I wouldn't you know want to say this too much, but that thing when Greg and Sarah sing together is like whoa.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I love Whiskey Jack. That's probably my favorite song off the entire
Oh,
record.
really?
Absolutely love it. For the same reason, the vocals, the almost sounds like a slide guitar. It's just, it's probably not, but my, but it's a beautiful, beautiful song.
Well,
Um,
and that one's also got Matt Kelly from City and Color on that one, and
oh,
Kendall Carson, who plays with Alan Doyle. So
oh,
you know, they did the fiddle and pedal steel on that one. So there's another case where I just sent it there, and I got this stuff back, and I went, oh my goodness, it was so exciting. It was like a Christmas every day when you get this stuff back, and you know, the people had worked hard and done it in their sort of isolated spaces that they were living in. All those people would, you know, stopped touring as well.
you're right.
And then so they would be in their little kind of audio science lab themselves. And yeah.
Um, do you have any favorite songs off the record that you can't wait to be in front of an audience performing them to? Or?
Well, I perform that Whiskey Jack song, and I love performing that. Soul Sisters, another one. Uh, I'm still trying to set up, like, everything's just gotten so busy in this summer, and lots of rock gigs too. But so I you know, it's interesting. I'm going to play at the end of the summer in Welland with Kim Mitchell, for instance. You know, I mean, a lot of that stuff's happening, but I do really want to try and just do a gig where I play like a record release gig,
Yeah,
and get all the players that are involved and just play this music. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
that would be great. I'm going to tell you, Barney, I was 18 and working in a record store when Something to Live For came out, and 17 or 18 years old, and that album was barely ever off the turntable in the record store. You guys had such a great run for those, whatever it was, 10 years with all those albums, bunch of hits. And then you just kind of quietly ended that, and you went off to be a rancher. I mean, was it a matter of the workload and the recording and touring? You just needed the break, or was it a case of
Uh,
the music business changing and the landscape, or what?
I'll be completely honest in this one. I don't mind talking about it at all. I had such a good relationship through that time, through the '90s, or with Columbia Records, or became Sony.
Right.
And you know, we just had a great team, and they were so everybody was, you know, that we were on the label with Loverboy and Celine Dion. And there was really wasn't much else. You know, Larry Gowan, all these people that were doing so well, and we were like the underdogs. We were like the little punks, and they supported us so well, and it was a wonderful thing. And then you know, as happens in record companies, there was a regime change, and it got political. Nothing to do with me. It was, you know, between management and record company, and then it just it and I it was a real learning experience for me because I generally try and I'm a consensus person. I don't I don't go around laying waste to things. It's important to leave you know, a good trail behind me, I guess.
Don't burn
And
bridges. Good taste in people's mouths.
yeah, and so things got really difficult there. And so I just went, wow, this is difficult. And then I went, well, you only have one life to live.
Mhm.
Am I going to bang my head against the wall? Or I did want to try I had a hobby sort of ranch that I still have. And it's almost a little bit more than a hobby. It takes a lot of my time, but the working cattle ranch in our area, we're in real ranch country in the interior BC. I divide my time between here and the coast and there. And the ranch came for sale, and we went. It was kind of an impulsive thing. It's like, okay, let's do this, and I figured we could probably get people to, you know, help with the work, but it was just so all encompassing. And then I liked immersing myself in that. I mean, maybe it's a little bit like when Leonard Cohen went to the monastery. I don't know. It's like it was really great to get on a horse and try and find your cows and all this vast rangeland and just learning how to do it and delivering all the calves and helping with that in calving season. And it's sort of I liked it. It was a little hard to when you're used to you know we became well known pretty quickly, and then you're kind of used to that. So you uh, anyways, I went in that direction, and then it was Jim Cuddy who said, "Why don't you come? You should, why don't you make a record? We'll do it at their studio with Blue Rodeo backing," which I did. That became my record, Gift Horse, in 2007. So really, it was like a 6 year hiatus, and I still played gigs a bit, enough to keep my chops up. They're in reasonably good shape, but I also rodeoed. I did team roped in rodeos. Learned a lot about ranching, and I learned a lot about resilience, and I also, when I came back to music, I'd lost ground. I understand that, but it's life's a journey, and I the one thing that was really a benefit was I came back to it, and I used to think sometimes that music was hard, and I hear that a lot from people out there. It's like, oh, this is such a grind, and I after I ranched, it was like, this is actually pretty cushy. So I mean, it's not like like you can get weary of traveling, but so it just I knew I'd wanted to come sort of and explore different directions, and that's what I did.
Brian Wilson laid in bed for a few years, and he came back. So I mean, you can't get much worse than that.
I,
Now going full circle, and I don't know why this is entering my head, but wasn't the ranch called Cosmic Ranch or something? Is that what it was called?
no, it's called the Cutter Ranch.
Cutter Ranch. Is there a Cosmic Ranch? Because I thought there was a tie-in between Cosmic Dreamer and a ranch. I'm probably
No, no,
wrong.
they don't really talk about ranching country. They don't. Sometimes you avoid talking politics up in that area, and you don't go cosmic on them. So
um,
there's, you can see in the background. I think it's our. That was the old
oh,
sign at the ranch that when we sold, I just went when we sold the working ranch. I went, oh man, I'm taking that down, and it's become an art piece in our house.
the you come back as predominantly a solo artist. You've worked with the legendary Hearts a few times since you've gotten back together and done some shows and stuff. Has there ever been any thought of a new record for the band as a band?
We recorded a few things. I mean, everybody's has. It's funny what happened to that. We're all best of friends, and when we play, like we'll do two or three things a year,
Right.
and it's always. And then some of the shows I'm doing this year, musicians are so in demand right now, and like I say, my drummer I use all the time plays with Colin James. And you can imagine he's pretty busy these days. So
Yeah.
But so some of the legendary hearts come and play with me,
Oh, awesome.
and we're like we are that that very much that we're soul brothers, you know. Like, and so as soon as we get together, it takes us about one night to rev the engines up, and then it's like it's as if it never stopped, and we got frozen in that age, and it's a wonderful thing. And so we've recorded a bit, and you know we'll see what happens. But it's always wonderful to play with them.
You mentioned working with Jeffrey Kelly from Spirit of the West. You've worked with Jim Cuddy. You've done stuff with Shari Ulrich and Tom Taylor. Um, Collaborations are something that you seem to really enjoy. A lot of artists do. Some artists don't collaborate at all. They like to be in control of everything creatively. Um, do you have a bucket list of people that you'd like to work with, or is it just you create the music and then you say this would sound great with this guy, or with this would sound great with Sherry, or this would, you know, how
Yeah,
do you?
I don't really have a bucket list. You know, like I I feel. I mean, I'm probably a bit of a nightmare for my manager, bless his heart. Gilles is such a wonderful guy. I feel very lucky to be in the company of Buffy Sainte Marie, and you know, sort of the people that he manages. And I love doing different things. You know, like there's the Highbar Gang. There's
Yeah.
with Tom and Sherry and our Caribou Express thing that we always play. We're hoping to get out to Ontario this year, but it's
Great.
all, yeah, I love the collaborative part of it. Like a big old, you know, I love sharing the stage. I'm not a control freak at all. It's like I love when it gets collaborative and you feel the energy of the other people. My son Dustin, who plays,
I was
he's
gonna say that. Does he play with you? Because I know he's a musician as well.
yeah. I mean, we actually got billed. We're doing a big Canada Day show, and it's the two of us, which is
Oh,
great to
awesome.
see. You know, and then he's playing in my band. I'm doing shows with Leroy Stagger's band in Alberta, and Dust is going to be a part of that too, and some guys from Deep Dark Woods. So like the collaborations are fantastic. You just have to get everybody organized, and then you're good to go. And then I'm going to play in Ontario with Devin Cuddy's band,
Oh,
who are just killer band. So they're going to play with me. I mean, it's all this stuff is fun. I just keep going. You know, it keeps me interested, and you know, I don't see myself stopping doing this at all.
well, we hope not, and we can't wait to get you back on a stage here in Ontario. I've seen you. I saw you live many years ago, and it was a fantastic experience. So I can't wait to get you back on a stage here, close to here soon. The new record, as I mentioned, is called Cosmic Dreamer. I haven't found it on vinyl yet, Barney, but
You know what? We oh, that's so great. Oh, that's so awesome. You know, it vinyl. I think we'll do it, but it's so it pretty much takes a year now. It's like
oh yeah.
it's hard. I mean, it's a lot of factors. So you know, supply issues and vinyl and all that stuff.
Well, I hope you do it because that I think it would sound fantastic on
I
vinyl.
think it would too.
The it can be found on all the streaming services. BarneyBentall.com. This is an absolute must-have record. Thank you so much for being with me today on TRP, Barney. It's been an
You're
absolute
very
pleasure.
welcome.
And I wish you the best of luck this summer touring, and best of luck with the record.
Thank you. How's the tech doing?
Good, good so far.